Thank you so much and welcome back to The Verdict on Channels Television, your election coverage across the country, right here, the nation's news leader. I'm now being joined by the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Lagos, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Thank you so much and welcome to The Verdict.
Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure to be in your studio.
Thank you. Why do you want to be Lagos governor?
I believe at this point in time, Lagos, which is the 5th largest economy in Africa, right, needs to have set new directions. It needs to do a lot of things quicker, faster, better. It needs to have, right, a path in which we can quickly deal with all of the challenges that comes with a mega city status like Lagos. It needs to rebrand itself. It needs to position itself for the opportunities that are bound in this place. It needs to do a whole lot of things with the poorest of the poor, with all the challenges that we see every day. On traffic, on transportation, on health, on education, a lot of things. But beyond that, I have a whole lot of passion for people. I've been a people person. I've been someone that usually wants to donate my time and get the next person better than whoever it is. So it's all put together. And also, given my several years of experience, I believe this is the time. If I want to do it at all, I need to do it and get it right now. Because also the not too young are right behind. And so many
You're not
things.
too young.
Well,
you don't fall within that bracket.
I don't fall within that bracket, you know. So, I mean, there are lots of younger 30s and early 40s that also want to do things because it's actually a technology revolution going out there, right? And if we as Lagosians, if Lagos is not going to make a portable space in it, then, I mean, why we need?
And you think you are the right man for the job?
I believe I am the right man. I'm not thinking.
Do you think politically it was fair for you to emerge as the APC candidate?
Absolutely, because I've earned it.
Really?
Because I've been, yes.
I mean, you earn it. Just a moment. You earn it.
Yes.
When someone who, conventionally, traditionally, politically speaking, you give someone a first chance of refusal. That's what they say. But that man did not get it because
he did.
Politically you were favored.
No, he did. Come out of it. Just relax. What usually happens was we said that people pick people. They handpick people. And the party now said, you know what? Let's throw it open. All party card-carrying members, right, must have a say. So we went with direct primaries. So in direct primaries, nobody has any right over anybody. It's not been done since 1993 or 94 or something. So over 1 million people voted here. Over 1 million people. And I got, I mean, what percentage now? And that's the whole population talking. That's where they want to go. And that is the chance.
So your emergence was fair?
I believe so. It was. And Lagosians also believe so.
Okay. So in that sense, yes. You're saying you're going to be a man of yourself.
Completely. At 53, certainly.
With all of the political bigwigs in the APC,
well, I mean,
who came behind you to support you as against the sitting governor.
And I appreciate that. And it's because they know what I've done. It's because they appreciate what I've contributed in government, out of government, back into government. It's because they know it. That's why. And so it's also based on the pedigree of all of the various things I've done. That's why they are supporting it.
Right where sit in this very studio,
yes.
Your opponent, one of the major opponents in this election, the candidate of the PDP, Junior Agbaje, is not a man that is strange to governorship elections in Lagos State. And he did say one of the slogans of his campaign is Free Lagos. He does interpret in his manner of speech at the time that Lagos is being remotely controlled by some bigwigs in your party. Those are some of the things that he said.
Are you in shackles? This is 21st century. Wake up. Right? There is no shackle anywhere. But when we talk about freedom, this same man you talked about comes every 4 years. Right? When Lagos revenues were held by his own party for over 2 years, there were no free Lagos. He wasn't talking about it. When Lagos had issues with federal government on planning approval, there were no free Lagos at that time. When Lagos had issues, he wanted right of way for 6 years. PDP did not give them any right of way. There was no freedom then. When Lagos was asking for special status all of the time, every year, for 16 years, nobody in PDP looked at them. There was no freedom then, right? All of a sudden, right, a Lagos that had moved from 1999, that was borrowing money to pay salary, to a Lagos that is doing so very much in the nation, in Africa now. Somebody's talking about freedom. let's be real to ourselves.
So the political structure in Lagos is working. Is that what you're saying?
I believe it is working.
Is Lagos working?
Lagos is working, but it can do better, it can do it quicker, it can do it faster, given the dynamics of where the world is today.
Because you say you want to fix Lagos. Some of the things that you say that you have bright ideas on how you want to fix Lagos and all of that. You did mention how the center is very important in the scheme of things. Lagos is very important. It's a commercial nerve center of the nation.
It is.
In that sense, what is your projection like for Lagos? Should you be governor?
As in to work with the federal, or my projection?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, my projection is I certainly need the federal to do a lot of things. You know, so many things we will get to do very quickly. So many arrangements with the federal. So many laws that we need to look at and remove. And see, working with them, and I have a lot of examples, right? In power, in rail, right? Like I told you, for 6 years, we're trying to get a right-of-way on the red line, right? This federal government had doing the red line now. For 6 years, PDP didn't give us the right. That's why we had to go and do the blue line, right? We had issues, even to build jetties on our ferries, to build jetties. You know, NIWA, which is a federal government-controlled agency, will not give you approval just to build jetty, internal jetties. You don't have approvals, right? You know, federal government will sell their houses, right? They don't even come to you. They will be issuing CFOs and be issuing planning approvals from Abuja on a local estate. Those are some of the things we're talking. So with them, you know, we have actually got a lot of traction. We've got a lot of mileage and we've got a lot of benefit, you know, working together. And I believe that going forward, which I believe that, you know, we'll still retain it, we'll do a whole lot better.
Mr. Sanwo-Olu, we'll take a break on the program. And you will tell Nigerians the chances of your party, especially like the figures we showed. Lagos has the largest voting population. You will tell Nigerians the chances of your candidate at the center and in Lagos. That's after this break, everyone. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on this corner of the Verdict on Channels Television, your election coverage program for the whole all to the very moment in election. We'll give you the counting, the voting, every aspect of the election. We're looking at every aspect that you need to know and follow throughout this election. My guest tonight on the program is the APC governorship candidate in Lagos, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and thanks for being part of the show tonight. Well, you've been talking about your projections and your plans. Do you think the candidate of the APC, presidential candidate that is, Muhammadu Buhari, can win Lagos?
Oh, Shehu, I believe so. I certainly do think so. I think so for several reasons, right? I believe, you know, in his 3.5 years or thereabout, right, he has promised us to do a whole lot with it regarding corruption, regarding security, and turning the economy around. You know, the economy actually went into recession, Shehu, and it's belly up. You know, we've gone into recession for over a year. We're coming out of the recession. We're seeing the numbers, they're growing, right? You can say they're not growing as fast as they should. See all of the initiatives in agriculture. Right? We've seen 2 years in which we're beginning to do a whole lot in agriculture, and that's jobs, right? We're seeing people beginning to do a whole lot, you know, in rice, Lagos, Kebbi, and all of that. You know, we stopped rice importation. That's great things, you know. That's job coming back, you know. But you know how it is. You really cannot eat an omelette without breaking the egg. Something needs to happen for you to begin to see this wrap up. And that's why I believe that we need to give them a chance, you know, to wrap up all of the things they've started, you know, in power, you know, like I said, in transportation. You know, you've seen Kanu to Abuja. You've seen the light rail to the airport. You've seen Itakwe to Warri. You've seen Lagos, Abeokuta, Lagos to Ibadan coming up. I mean, these are massive job creation initiatives.
Do you think those are language that the average Nigerians who are going to vote on Saturday understand those languages?
Well, I imagine we should tell them correctly so, you know, because that's what will give, you know, jobs back. That's what will give people food on the table. you know, and we're not going to be importing everything and anything.
And you think Nigerians trust your party?
I believe they do, honestly, because that's what that man has said to us. If anything, he will never steal our money. He will never steal our money, right? So what we need to push for him to do is to disperse the intervention quicker and faster. He had said so to us. He will never steal our money, and that for me is a great thing because he's a man of integrity, and that's also what I stand for, right? So what we just need to see is those jobs go up, is the economy, you know, wrap up a whole lot more. He was with the private sector two days ago, right? And it was all good news. You know, he assured them of all the things that he will be. Ease of doing business. We've never had it great like we've gotten it right now. You know, they've removed a whole lot of red tapes, right, that hitherto used to be available. And you see, people will come, right? We've gone through a season in which, you know, the stock market had its own belly down, but all of those things are coming back, you know. And they've also reformed the power sector. They didn't, they were not the ones that privatized it, but they've reformed it to say that willing buyers, willing sellers can come in, and we believe that a whole lot of things will happen.
Mr. Sanwo-Olu, if you look at the turnout of voters in Kano for the PDP on Saturday, and compared to the turnout that your party had in Lagos on Saturday, what are the hopes for your party in this election?
Great, absolutely great. I actually didn't see the turnout for them because I was at my rally, so I didn't see, right? But I can tell you the crowd that we had on Saturday is great. You know, and take it, you know, Lagosians are very busy people, right? They all have their, but it's not even with the number of people only that you have a rally. It's the number of interventions, the number of people you've been able to convince, right, with your message. It's a message we need to look at.
So you're not bothered by the kind of turnout the PDP got in Kano?
I actually didn't even see it. That's the truth. I didn't, right? But
it's showing right on the screen right there. And I mean, a lot of permutations are coming as regarding the kind of turnout that came in Kano State to receive the PDP compared to what your party got in Lagos and what your party got in Kano.
The president, the current president, will win Kano. He will win Kano.
Will he win Lagos?
He will certainly win Lagos.
Will he win this election?
I believe he will win this election, Shehu. I believe so truly.
You believe because of faith that you have?
No, because
but not because of the realities of things on ground.
I just explained to you, Shehu, the things he promised us, the things he has been able to achieve, and the growth I've seen. And those growth, how they're going to turn into numbers. Right? I've explained to you all of the things they're doing with rail. That's the decongestion. All of the things they're doing in agriculture. Those are the two major stakes that actually can throw up a lot more jobs. Not like people that are just rhetoric saying, we're going to do 3 million. From where? How? You know, for 16 years, they didn't do it. All of a sudden, they now want to do it coming out of recession. Let me give you a simple instance. Last week, right, we went for a commission. It was a transmission line in Elashe, in which, you know, the TCN were just commissioning a substation for that place. You know, TCN has commissioned more substation in the last 3.5 years than in the previous 16 years before that. It was an outstanding revelation that I got. I couldn't believe it. And you know, in that government, they spent over 16 billion or so for power. In 3.5 years, they've been able to do things, a lot more substations in 3.5 years than in 16 years before that. You know, so it's not by saying.
What is one most important thing for you should you win this election?
Oh, okay, it's how to get a lot of my people out of poverty. And I'm going to do that with my project team, you know, ensuring that I push more fund into education, into health, right? Because that's...
How much are you planning to put into education?
Education, currently we're doing less than 10%. Over the 4 years, we'll see how we wrap up to about 15%. And on health, we're doing currently under 10% as well, to wrap up that to about 18%. Really because of the health insurance policy that we're also bringing on board, which will cover all of the vulnerable, the poorest of the poor, just so that if you do education and health well, not only are you guaranteeing the future of those kids, the future of Nigeria, of Lagosians, right? But you're also giving them a make-believe in themselves to be sure that they also could be somebody tomorrow.
Let me show you the Kano rally of the PDP again. That's on the screen for you, so that you can have a... Is it scary for you if any candidate in the opposing side gets this kind of welcome into a city that has one of the largest voting population. What does it tell you, Mr. Sanwo-Olu?
Well, it tells me that there's work to be done, right? And we're doing the work, right? And then what it also tells me is, I don't know the demography, the voting demography in Ghana. Well, we have a sitting governor there, right? And I know from what I have had conversations with our people in Kano, right? That in itself, right? Crowd in itself is not all about voting. It has a whole lot of machinery with it. How do you also mobilize your people on that day? How do you get them to convince that this is the right things to do, right? And I believe that we will come out well.
So that we finalize this conversation, did you sign any deal to do a one-term?
It's 4 years that is on the ballot, Sheung. I'm not.
Would you be willing to renew it should you win?
If it's the Lagosians that will determine that for me.
Was it part of the deal that you signed?
There's certainly no deal. It's the Lagosians that I'm going to have deal with. So when they elect me.
Are you sure you're going to have a two-term if you are given the opportunity?
It's that for Lagosians to determine if I've earned in the first 4 years. It will be you that will determine, not you, but Lagosians.
Do you think you can win?
I believe I can win. I know I'm going to win.
Thank you so much, Mr. Babajide.
Thank you so very much
for talking to us. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. And I want to commend you on the verdict. It's a good thing that we'll all be looking out to.